Okay, so Adobe Edge came out today, and it's looking to be the successor to Flash, using all the current web standards, so JavaScript, CSS, HTML5, etc., etc. Now, I've had a little bit of a play around. You've got to remember that this is the first release, or it's a preview to get people get feedback from people, so like an open beta, effectively. First impressions is it's a very scaled back version of Flash. Interface wise, we get properties along the side which allows you to edit certain elements, so height, width, that sort of thing. You've got your timeline down the bottom, which is taken pretty much straight from Flash, actually. You're dealing with keyframes, you're dealing with, now, really cool, it automatically creates motion tweens and everything, so you don't have to bother with that crap. I hated having to deal with that with Flash. Go into this in more detail in a second. Elements is effectively like a layers palette. I think the difference between these two, because timeline you can see everything's animated. Elements, I think you can see anything that's on the stage. They call it a stage. Elements, you can see anything that's on a stage that isn't animated, as well as the animated elements. So anyway, we'll go ahead and create a new project. Automatically creates us a white canvas or stage, as I'm supposed to call it. And you can see in the properties, because I've got nothing selected, I've only got the stage selected, I can go and change the stage width and height. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the height to, I can go and type it in, I'm assuming, 150 pixels, and I'll go for about 600 wide, I think, just enough to play around with. Now you can obviously change the background colour here, so I'll go and change it to black. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to import a background, and I'm going to move that throughout the entire animation. So what I'm going to do, file and then import. Now what's really annoying me at the moment is I'm used to, with Photoshop and Illustrator, etc., etc., being able to drag things in. You can't do this at the moment with Edge, or at least I couldn't earlier. So I've got my assets just here. What I can do, what I should be able to do, I think, is drag my background onto the stage, but I just can't do that. Actually, I wonder if I can do it to elements. Let's give that a go. No, can't drag it anywhere. So what you have to do is file and import, or Command R. I'll have to get used to that. So I'll grab Adobe Edge, and there's my background. So I'll open that up, and it automatically puts it straight on the stage for me. Just on the left hand side here, you can see all the different properties I've got here, like location, size. And what's quite cool is you've got these little diamonds which you're able to snap a keyframe on a particular size, on a particular measurement. So what it's doing at the moment is, you can see down here it's got auto keyframe, and I'm going to take that off for the moment because I want a bit more control over my elements. So I messed up a little bit there, so what I'm going to do is go over that again, because I didn't have auto keyframe turned on, which actually means that it doesn't animate. There I was saying that motion tween you don't have to bother with, but God knows how you sort that out. But anyway, so I'll insert nebula again, call it nebula. I will snap the location keyframe wise, so again just clicking that little diamond there, add that keyframe. Drag my playhead to around here, and then I will move my X value to about -500-ish. And there we go, that's what it's supposed to look like. So it's supposed to give us this nice green bar here. Now what's quite cool is you've got this sort of bar at the top which selects the entire animation properties for the whole element. So if you've got several different animation properties that are all starting and finishing at different times, you can just grab this top bar and move it around. So if I now set the playhead back to the start and press spacebar, there we go. Now that's a little fast for my liking, so I'm actually going to drag out the animation to about 4 here. Still a little fast, so what I'll do, I want it to really slow, sort of as if it's a pan. So what I'll do, I'll drag this playhead to that very last keyframe, grab the nebula, and I will take it to, let's go for -250, about half that speed. So again, drag to start, That's the sort of thing I wanted. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add a couple of seconds where the nebula fades in. So we're going to drag this entire animation 2 seconds to start. I can zoom out a little bit down here using this little slider tool here. Zoom out so I can see the entire animation. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to Start, select Nebula. I'm going to snap the opacity keyframe. Go to 2 seconds up. I'm going to grab opacity again. And what I'm going to do with the first keyframe is I'm going to set that opacity down to 0. So now we should have a nice fade in and then it moves. Now the problem with that is it's quite juddery. It fades in and then snap, it starts moving. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stretch the movement animation right to the start as well so that it sort of fades in as it's moving. That's it, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Okay, that's cool. I'm happy with that. So what I'll do next is I will import the logo, my company logo. Oh. Take it straight from our site. And I'm going to position it down round about here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that fade in right at the end. So that's obviously been given a keyframe. That's why it's become animated. Because the auto animation is on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the opacity down to 0 at the start. I'm then going to keyframe just here. Snap the opacity again. And then go right to the end. Pull the opacity up to 100. So let's see what that looks like. Cool, I'm happy with that. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to put in a text box and I'm going to put a little strap line in that fades in sort of just before the logo does. So insert text box, and now I'm going to do web design and digital marketing. Now this is where Edge is limited, whereas Flash sort of wasn't. So one good side to Flash. I don't know whether Adobe are going to do anything about this because this is sort of just nature of the web. You can see here they only give you a very limited palette of fonts to choose from because they have to be web safe. So I don't know whether Adobe are then going to turn around and start hosting fonts on the web. I don't know. I mean, that's speculation, but we'll see how they play that one because it is a very limited palette of text. So, I mean, you can get around it by using an image, but the advantage of using text here is actually, I believe, you'll be able to add JavaScript properties to it. But again, I'll go into that in more detail a few tutorials on. This is supposed to be simple. It's going on for ages. Anyway. I'm going to set it to Arial / Helvetica. Set it to color-wise about there. Regular's fine. And I'll take the size. Actually, no, I'm going to change it to Homer, I think. To Homer looks better. Yeah, take the size right the way down. I might even take the color down a bit. Cool, okay. And now what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to copy, so Command C. No, copy and paste doesn't work. Interesting, okay. God knows why. Let's copy that anyway. Insert another text box. Now, with Adobe Edge. Kind of cheesy, but it works. So what I'm going to do, I plan to sort of fade these in and then out when this logo comes in. So again, we'll snap back to sort of 1 second here. Take the opacity right the way down. Oh, I should have done that at the start, shouldn't I? So drag that keyframe to the start. Take that opacity right the way down. head to 1 second in, grab the top text box, snap, put a keyframe on to edit the opacity, then have the opacity coming up a second later to 100%, and then just here I will also put a keyframe in for, if you've used Flash before, you're quite used to this process. So I'm just creating keyframes to keep it 0 opacity there, and then upping the opacity afterwards. Another keyframe, up the opacity. So let's see what that looks like. Fade in. Cool, okay, I'm not happy with the position of those, but I don't like the balance. Okay, that'll do. And I want both of these fading out just as the logo fades in. So again, we'll grab another keyframe. So grab these two. Opacity, opacity. Oh, can I put... Yep, shift click, select both at the same time. Head down and fade those out. So grab the opacity right the way down. So again, let's preview this. Great. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so what happens if I then want to save this as a HTML document to put on my website? So, File, Save As, I will. And let's go and pop this in Tutorials folder. I'm going to call this banner ad 1. And notice file format, you can save as either HTML or HTML obviously, but it doesn't. There's not a proprietary Edge format as far as you can tell, at least. So let's save that. And let's go and see what ends up in the folder. So in the folder, ignore this folder here. We've got 4 documents here and then 2 folders, obviously with images and whatever else it wants to include. Now what it's including for us is a HTML document with the banner ad on, an Edge document. I'm assuming that's, well actually that's the same size as the HTML, so that may well just be HTML but opens automatically through Edge. You've then got some specific JavaScript specifically for this HTML document, and then some CSS for this HTML document. So if you upload these, I'm assuming, to your site, you can just head straight to this HTML document. Anyway, let's see what this looks like. Let's open this up in Safari. Come on, Safari. It's been really slow lately. Oh, that's interesting. So this is overlapping. Okay, so let's give this a go. I know that, that's why. So the canvas overflow is set to visible at the moment. Now I know CSS properties, if I set it to hidden, it should cut off, yeah, there we go, should cut off the edge. Visible means any elements that are inside the div or the container, any elements that are outside it are not chopped off, they are visible. So I set that to hidden. Now what happens if I save this? Does that edit the... So I'll just Command S to save, or Control S if you're using a stupid PC. Let's go and give that another go. Oh, it doesn't update that. Okay. Quit Safari for a second. Save as. Save again. Replace. Let's give that a go. Let's try it in Chrome. There we go, perfect. And that is all HTML and CSS. That should work on iOS devices, hopefully be a lot less processor intensive than Flash was, and will not be blocked by Flash blockers. Excellent, anyway, I'm going to trim down this tutorial and hopefully have it online. So, see you guys later, bye.